The face everyone knew. The truth no one did. Under the bright lights of the 1,950 seconds British cinema, Kay Kendall sparkled like few others. With her signature comedic flair, statuesque elegance, and a smile that lit up every frame, she became a national darling. To audiences, she was the face of joy, always laughing, always graceful, always in control. But what if the woman everyone thought they knew was carrying a secret even she wasn't allowed to learn? On screen, she was vibrant and full of life. Off screen, her body was quietly surrendering to a disease she never saw coming. And as the cameras rolled, so did the countdown to a truth she would never hear. Why did no one tell her? Who had the right to decide what she should or shouldn't know? And in the end, was it love that kept the truth from her, or something far more complicated? Kay Kendall wasn't just famous, she was unforgettable. Born into a family steeped in music and performance, her leap into the spotlight seemed inevitable. But it wasn't until the early 1,950 seconds that she became a sensation, with her blend of comedic brilliance and undeniable screen magnetism. She wasn't just a pretty face, she was smart, quick, and capable of delivering punchlines with effortless charm. Her breakthrough came with Genevieve, 1953. A light-hearted comedy that took Britain by storm and catapulted her into international attention. Audiences adored her. So did the press, who dubbed her the most exciting British discovery in years. Her allure crossed oceans, earning her a rare dual presence in both the British film industry and the golden gates of Hollywood. In public, she was seen as lucky, a woman with the world at her feet, contracts in her hands, and the future wide open. But behind the fame, something was slowly breaking. Kay Kendall was born Justine Kay Kendall McCarthy in 1927 into a family where music and performance flowed like blood. Her father, a variety performer and musician, kept the stage close to home, but her early life was far from glitzy. After her parents separated, Kay was sent to a convent school, far removed from the glamour she would one day inhabit. Even as a teenager, she towered above her peers, both in height and in presence. But her ambitions didn't find their way to the screen immediately. First, she chased music, dreaming of a career as a cellist. It wasn't until her early 20s that she turned toward acting, pushed more by financial need than burning passion. Her first screen appearances were small, often uncredited. She nearly gave up more than once, weary of the slow crawl toward recognition. But fate intervened in the form of Genevieve. The role, almost passed over, became her launchpad. Her comedic timing and spontaneous energy stole every scene, and just like that, she became someone no one could ignore. She had made it. But as always with fame, the spotlight has shadows, and they were already beginning to stretch behind her. Success arrived like a whirlwind, and with it came the price no one sees from the red carpet. For Kay Kendall, fame wasn't just a dream come true, it was a machine that demanded more than she could give. She became the darling of premieres, fashion magazines, and late-night headlines. But with each spotlight came a cost. Privacy slipped away, and the pressure to always perform, even off-screen, quietly tightened around her. While the world saw a glowing star, Kay battled relentless fatigue, unexplained pains, and moments of breathlessness. She dismissed them, so did others. The pace of her career didn't slow. She filmed, toured, posed, smiled. Her life became tightly managed, a public performance where exhaustion was disguised as glamour. At the heart of her private life was Rex Harrison, the suave, older actor with his own complex past. Their relationship, though passionate, was clouded by secrets. Kay didn't know it, but her medical tests were being seen by Rex alone. He worked closely with doctors. He made decisions she never heard about. She thought she had everything: fame, love, adoration. But piece by piece, the truth was being withheld not by strangers, but by the person she trusted most. It began as a whisper, a slight tiredness, a cold that wouldn't go away. But for Kay Kendall, there was no time to pause. With cameras rolling and public appearances lined up, slowing down was not an option even when her body began to send louder signals. In 1954, during filming, she fainted on set. Doctors ran tests, blood work, then more tests. The diagnosis, leukemia. But Kay never heard that word. Rex Harrison, now her husband, made a decision that would define the rest of her life and divide opinion for decades. He asked doctors not to tell her. Instead, He arranged for quiet treatments, vague explanations, and a veil of reassurance that it was nothing serious. To the world, she looked slightly pale, occasionally tired, but still dazzling. She continued to act, to smile, to entertain. Even as her health declined rapidly, she believed she was simply overworked, perhaps a touch of anemia, nothing more. She trusted her husband, she trusted her doctors. But inside, her body was slipping away. Friends noticed, co-stars whispered, but no one said anything. And Kay, bright, trusting, beloved Kay, kept performing until the curtain fell. She died in 1959, aged just 32, never knowing she had been dying. Her final months were a study in contradictions. On the outside, Kay Kendall remained the embodiment of grace, attending parties, posing for photos, and reassuring friends she was simply run down. On the inside, her condition was quietly deteriorating. The treatments she received were not explained. The bruising, the fevers, the fatigue, all were attributed to something vague, something manageable. She never stopped hoping. She made plans. She read scripts. She dreamed aloud about starting a family. Behind closed doors, Rex Harrison carried the truth like a secret burden. He arranged private nurses. He shielded Kay from newspapers. When doctors updated him, he nodded solemnly and then returned to her bedside with a smile. On the 6th of September 1959, Kay Kendall passed away in a London hospital. She believed she had been getting better. News of her death sent shockwaves through the film world. Fans were stunned. How could someone so radiant be gone so suddenly? Then the real story emerged, that she had never known her diagnosis, and that the man closest to her had kept it hidden. Some called it a final act of love, others a tragic injustice. Kay Kendall's story faded from public memory far too quickly, as if her early death had folded her life into silence. But those who worked with her, those who loved her on screen, never forgot. In just a handful of films, she captured something timeless: wit without cruelty, beauty without vanity, lightness without effort. Though her filmography is short, her impact lingers in the memories of a generation who saw her not just as an actress, but as a rare presence, someone who could make people laugh without trying, and who carried her pain without ever letting it show. Decades later, critics still return to Genevieve, Les Girls, and The Reluctant Debutante to study how she brought comedy to life with elegance. Young actresses have cited her as an icon, a reminder that charm can be powerful without being loud. Her name may not dominate headlines now, but for those who really look, her legacy is there. Not just in films, but in the lingering question she left behind. What does it mean to truly protect someone, and what does it cost? Kay Kendall's life reads like a film script, luminous, brief, unforgettable. She had the fame, the talent, the beauty, and the charm. But behind the stardust was a truth withheld, a fate rewritten by someone else's hand. She died not knowing she was dying, a reality as haunting as it is heartbreaking. Her story forces us to ask, does love mean protecting someone from pain even if it means hiding the truth? Or does every person deserve to know, no matter how cruel that truth might be? In the end, Kay Kendall remained suspended between light and shadow. A woman who made the world laugh, even as her own story drifted toward an ending she never saw coming. What do you remember about her? If she were still here, what would you want to say? If this story moved you, share it, comment, subscribe. Help us remember those who gave everything for the spotlight and were still left in the dark.